I've just catch up what we have discussed last time. Now, I think today's the fourth day, I suppose, right? Okay, so we have another maybe 2 to 3 weeks. So we will have after completions of my area, I will give you a sort of a model question paper, and that will be discussed, right, with answers with past questions as well as my model question. So we will discuss maybe the last day. So therefore you in a position to answer any questions coming under my purview. And in fact, last as I told you, last Monday we had a discussion, and then we may just discuss about the what you call the revision seminar, and that will they will inform to you. And another important thing is, so we are planning to have the exam. All depends on the present situation, and most probably maybe early November, December, or Jan. So what I mean, still you can't tell exact the time period, but we are trying to finish it off somewhere before Jan, right? And then there is a classroom, there is some evaluation. So if you have not now, if you have a free time, just evaluate the lecturer and then send it to place where they have requested. Right, and then we will start very interesting area about the financial institution expansion strategies. And of course we have discussed why we need to expand our businesses. So what are the reasons for that? Last time we discussed, and then we discussed what are the expansion strategies available. So we can do through concentration, so intensive growth strategies, integrations, diversifications, internationalizations, cooperation strategies. There are some strategies, but they are not expansion, right? So therefore, we are concentrating on only on these areas, right? And in fact, we discuss whatever the strategy we decide, and in fact, mind you, it has to be feasible and suitable and accepted, right, by the organization and the public. And then we discuss about concentration strategies, or what you call intensive growth strategies. And there, of course, we have identified three main strategies, uh, what you call market penetration, market development, and product development. So market penetration, we discussed, try to sell your existing product to your existing market. Where now, say for you are a branch, so so branch is usually have some catchment area, right? Usually your area, right? So try to get more business from your existing customers. So how can you do that? You can do that through selling more product to your existing customers, get your competitors into your business, as well as go for new customers in within your premises, within your catchment area. So that is market penetration strategies. We discuss in detail, right? Then we discuss about the market development, try to expand your businesses. Now that is basically uh, uh, for bank per se. Then market development through open new branches and use of new technology, new delivery channels, open branches overseas. All are we call them as a market development. And then we discuss about product development to cater to existing market, come up with new products. Most of the products are not new product per se. So usually we try to modify your existing product, right? And we discuss the importance of product development when we analyze our present position as BCG matrix and PSC. I think we recall it, the importance of we discuss about the product development, right? Then in fact we discuss about the other factor, we call them as, these are the three areas and we use Unilever as an example, and I explain to you. Right now, we are moving to uh, the another area. So another important area. A lot of question is asking from this area. That is what you call integration, or sometimes we call integrative growth strategies. Right? Integrative growth strategies. Now, what do you mean by integrative growth strategies? Right? So integrative strategies combine one or more operational areas, right? One or more operational areas, uh, basically to improve your businesses. Now, this is a strategy whereby a company owns or controls your suppliers, distributors, or retails creations to control the value of supply chain, right? So that is what you call integrative strategies, integrative growth strategies, right? So you are using integrative strategies mean you are using basically uh, your competitors and your custom your distributions and your suppliers, all you going to take into account when you're thinking about integrative growth strategies, right? So that is what you call integration growth strategies. Right. Now, we try to integrate all these things, your competitors, your suppliers, and your distributors. All you're going to integrate. Now, let me explain what is this integrative growth strategies. Basically, uh, you can do integrative growth in two ways. One is vertical as well as horizontal, right? Now, let me explain what is these vertical integrations and horizontal integration. So, most of the time the question is asked, what are the difference between vertical and horizontal integration? Now, totally we call them as integration. Integrations divided into two, vertically, vertical as well as horizontal. Okay. So, let me now explain what is this vertical integration, right? Now, vertical integration, uh, now the merging of companies. Now, we are going to discuss about acquisition merging as a later on, right? Now, try to merge or try to acquire companies that are in the same distribution chain of a product, right? Or acquiring the suppliers, right? So that means both. Now, say you're an organization, you need, you say for an example, your organization is a basically a cloth manufacturing company, for example, right? Cloth manufacturing organization. Now, what vertical integrations try to do? So your business is depend on what? Depend on the material or the raw material, right? What are the raw material? The clothes, zips, buttons, and all things are as a raw material. So, which you call the suppliers. Then you manufacture all these things, right? You are a manufacturing cloth manufacturing company. Now you want to distribute you need to sell your product through a network, also sort of a distribution network. So then what you're trying to do here at the vertical integration, right? You are trying to take control over, or going to take acquire your uh, cloth producing, that be the raw material organization, right? As well as your distributional chain work, right? So if you're going to take over both these two, we call them as a integration, vertical integration, right? So from this, what is the benefit you're going to get it? The benefits companies by allowing them to control the process, reduce cost, and improve efficiency on the distribution, right? So only problem here in the vertical integration. So if you want to do all these activities, you need more money, more capital, That's the main drawback here as a vertical integration. Right. The second one, so example sometimes ask, what is vertical integration? It is, as I told you, it is an arrangement in which the supply chain of a company is owned by that company. And this strategy was by company to gain control over its suppliers as well as your distributors, right? Now you know what you mean by a vertical integration. Remember the example, you are a manufacturing of a garment, right? So your organization depend on raw material suppliers, right? As well as the distributors. Once you manufacture garment item, somebody has to distribute. No? Now you try to expand the business, take control over both raw material suppliers as well as the distributors. That is what you call vertical integration. Right. Vertical integration, you can further divide it into two, right? Vertical distribution, vertical integration, you can further divide it into two. What are the two type of vertical integration? One is forward integration, other one is backward integration. Now, what I told you, the vertical integration, you take control over the raw material, the suppliers, and control over the distributors. Now, what is vertical integration type mean? Forward integration mean now you are looking after your strategy is by a company to gain control over its distributors in order to increase the firm's power and market share. Right now, if you want to improve your businesses, right, through taking over the distributor, then you call forward integration. Same thing. But if you're going to take over the control over the monitor or supplier, and that is we call backward integration. There's nothing. I told you vertical integration, take control over both distributor and the supplier. Accordingly, vertical integration can be further divided into two, forward integrations and backward integration, right? So now you know vertical integration further divided into two. I hope you understood. And the second one of the integration strategy we call horizontal integration. Horizontal integration. Now, what is horizontal integration? If two companies in the same industry with similar product lines are merged or acquired, it's called horizontal integration. Now, what you are going to do through the horizontal integration, you are going to increase your market share, right? And you usually take over the control of your competitors, right? Now, through horizontal integration, you have benefits. Why? You can improve your market share, increase your achieve economic of scale, right? And also creating complementary. Now, for an example, now Hewlett Packard, you know, the famous computer company, bought a compact company. They also manufacturing of computers. They also compact was taken over by the Hewlett Packard, right? So that is takeover. That means, say for an example, another horizontal integration I can tell you type of uh, uh, what you call regional development bank has taken over another non-specialized bank, right? Another specialized bank called Lankaputra Bank. That is a horizontal integration. If you really talk, but otherwise you can say for an example, I will tell you an example. Say car company, car manufacturer, right? They were taken over the truck company as well as bus manufacturer, both. So they are taking over that, right? Okay. So your competitor taken over, we call horizontal integration. Now I think now you know the second. What is first part we discussed? Intensive growth strategies, market penetration, market development, and product development. Second type we call integration strategies. Now you know what is integration strategy. Now integration strategy you can further divide it into two. What are the two? We call them as vertical integrations and horizontal integration. Now, vertical integration, again, you can divide it into two for backward integrations and forward integration. Backward means take over the supplier, forward integration, take over the distribution, right? Other one, what you're going to do, you have a potential, you take off your competitors. That is horizontal integration. Now, I told you beginning why you need to expand your business, to have a monopoly situation. So that the horizontal integration, right? I hope you understood. Now, if the examiner asks you what is backward, what is vertical integrations and horizontal integration, now you know the differences, right? Okay. Third strategy, we call them as a diversification strategy. Third strategy, we call them as a diversification strategy, right? Right. What is diversification? Right? Diversification strategies. So we are going to discuss about this diversification strategy, where you try to you have exhausted with the existing business opportunities available in the market. So within the present industry, you are fully maybe saturated sometimes. Therefore, you are looking for some alternatives, right? A growth strategy that involves investing in a product or businesses that are different from your own organization products. Now, there you can divide it into two. One is called, you are going to diversify your businesses for a concentric or related diversification. That means, so your businesses, your product and services, almost some sort of a relationship to your existing product and services. Other one is not related at all. That is, we call them as conglomerate, right? Okay. Have you understood now, Buddha? Clear? Kaushalya up to now is okay. Romesha, right? Understood? Chaturanga? Chagita, no? Chagita. Is that correct? Chagita, I pronounce your name correctly? Chagita? Huh? Priyanka? Understood? Up to now, what are the strategies what we have discussed? Poda kata karanu wani. Ase ulogi voice kan. Sanjeev? Okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, I
Right.
understood.
Right. Okay. I like to have your voices, right? Otherwise, I think you are not in the field, right? Okay. Then back again, uh, back again to the one, right? Okay, now you know diversification strategies. That means now your existing market is saturated or existing business saturated. You want to expand your business. How can you do? There are two methods. One is a related diversification, or sometimes we call concentric. Or unrelated diversifications, you sometimes we call conglomerated. Right? Now, what do you mean by a related diversification? Right? Something what you call you are related to your existing businesses, or maybe side modification. Or conglomerate diversification, nothing related at all. I will explain to you the differences, right? Okay, now let me first try to explain you. There are two types of diversification, right? Some textbook they talk about diversification growth strategies. Oh, I want to tell you that also. Some textbooks say diversification growth strategies three types. One is they call them as concentric, conglomerate, and horizontal. But I think it's better. The better definition is this, right? So diversifications are two basic types: related and unrelated. Related means which is you're going to expand to the business, which is something little related. Now, say for an example, banco insurance. That is something something related, right? Okay, so that is related. But conglomerate means you are going for, now say you are a bank. Think about, you are going for open up a new TV channel. My goodness, totally different, right? That is the unrelated business diversification, right? Now, under concentric diversification, or what you call the related diversification, you may have two type of concentric type. One is synergistic. Now listen carefully to me. Synergistic, right? Called synergistic diversification. If you have any other thing, just delete, right? Whatever you I have shown, just leave it. If I erroneously send some more what you call slides, so those are just deleted, right? Don't worry, right? I can remember I was erroneously sent some thing. If it is there without what I am showing you, just delete it. Don't look at it. Now, concentric diversification, that is what you call synergistic diversification. What is the other one we call horizontal diversification? Now, it's very interesting. Now, I want to tell you another important thing. If you're going for an MBA, if you are going for a final university, third year, I mean, final year university, so all things you are going to learn. So that is under strategic management. So I'm going to try to give you all these things very small nutshell, right? So there are so many things. Right. Now let's look at it. Concentric diversification, another type I told you, synergistic. Now, what is synergistic is talking about? Now, your products, present, you have a product, right? But your products are, right, something technologically compatible with the company's your existing product and services, right? Now, say for an example, if I tell you, your organization is a radio broadcasting company, then you are going to open, you are going to diversify, come up with new TV station. So that is what you call concentric synergetic diversification. Now, if you really look at it, lot of organizations like that. If you take Swarnavahini, if you take Cirrus, if you take Kiru, right? Asia for all are having concentric diversification. Those guys are having the TV station as well as they are having radio station. So what is that? Something related, but technologically related. But what do you think? Some are audio only, other one is audio and video. Now you see the concentric. I'll tell you a good example. Now, I'll tell you a good example here. Think about noodles. Think about the noodles, right? I think you know all these noodles, right? Think about noodles. Now, what are instant noodles companies? You know, we have Prima, Kotumi, and blah blah. Then you what is the other one you are having? Maggie, no? Maggie. So what are those things we call instant noodles, right? Okay, then you have another type of noodles, we call them as Harishchandra, right? Harishchandra, Nikado, all other noodles. You know, are Digeva Thambal Lodi, right? Arva Vidadi Deka. Now think about the Maggie move into that section, or Harishchandra moving to the instant noodle section. So that is what, but both are technically related. The processing is different, right? So that is you usually call them as what? Synergistic concentric diversification. I think now you understood very clearly, right? Now we'll move into the next one. That is horizontal diversification. Now horizontal diversification, where you don't have any related things technologically, but something different. but you're in the same line, business line, but at little difference, right? So horizontal means it looks for a product or service that can sell to its present customers. It can be a competitive product or it can be a complementary product, as well as it can be a byproduct. Now, I will tell you example for that, right? Take shoe manufacturing company. Shoe manufacturing company. And they come up with shoe polishing company. Something little different, but something you can cater into existing market. Correct? You are a manufacturer of shoes. But if you are purchasing polish, it's like a little different, not technically same, right? But it's two different, but are related. That is called horizontal, right? Diversification. Or sometimes you take, for an example, take a household vacuum cleaner and you're going for a commercial cleaner, also something we call a concentric diversification. Or sometimes we call you're a pencil producing company going for a pen producing company. Also, you can consider it as a complementary. Or maybe byproduct like butter manufacturing discovering increased demand for skim milk, right? Almost, but processing is totally different, right? So if you are going for this type of product, we call horizontal diversification. But both are have some sort of a relationship, right, to your existing business. Okay, then we are moving to another area where conglomerate diversification, where there is no any relationship with your existing business. You have a total new market, you have a total new product and services, right? Now, why of this again you go, if you find it you have a limited opportunity for expansion in the current organizational markets and products, so you are going for a totally different. This is what you call a unrelated diversification. There's nothing to have any sort of a relationship, a conglomerate diversification, right? Now it's a very risky, right? It is basically a very high risk business, because why? You are going for a totally different market, as well as you are going for a totally unrelated market. Now say you can name it one organization, but failure is very high. Now classic example I can tell you is, think about the Sri Lanka, right? I don't know whether you can remember Selinco Group. I think you may remember Upali, and you may also remember EAP. Now, again, right? Now think about EAP Edrisinger and Swarna Mahal. So they are some sort of related. Why? Because sporting business, they can take to manufacture what? The gold items, right? So that is a relationship diversification. Suppose now they have gone for Swarnavahini, totally unrelated. There's nothing to do with Swarnamahal, EAP Singapore for Swarnamahal. And they went again to the financial sector. Swarnamahal investment and ETI investment. Totally different from Swarnamahal, Swarnavahini, and Swarnamahal investment. So you can see what happened to those Swarnamahal financial institutions, right? So they collapse. So very risky. Those are unrelated. Now, companies like Upali also, Upali newspapers, they had, I don't know whether you know, they have about crystal soap, and so Upali has gone for paper, right? And also Upali has gone for, to my knowledge, manufacturing of unique radios. Can you remember? And cars. diversify businesses. Now, those things are not there, but those are the companies moving to the diversified, unrelated businesses, right? So, all are very much high risk. Clear? I think I have given you experience on this is called, but you can improve your businesses, right? You can improve your businesses, right? Now, that is what you call conglomerate diversification. Clear up to now, right? So I want to have a very thorough knowledge about you. Can't forget all these things, right? Clear? So I want to explain to you what are those expansion strategies. What are the things we learned? Intensive growth strategies, integration growth strategies, diversification growth strategies, and you know the differences between those things and what circumstances these strategies you need to use it. Right. Now we look at it another type of growth strategy, that is what you call the internationalization growth strategies, right? Internationally expansion. Now, it's a very common thing. If you want to improve your businesses, sometimes people go for internationalization. Now, how can you do that? So not banks. Banks also may go for internationalization, like commercial bank, open branches. You can say market development also, but you can say internationalization, right? Now, what do you mean by internationalization for market development? What is the difference? But internationally going not only for one country, go for a lot of countries, like HSBC, sort of internationalization expansion, right? Okay, now let's look at it. What are the what are the type of internationalizations, right? Over here briefly I try to touch on that. Think about the exporting. Now say your product want to send it to foreign market, what you are going to usually you export directly. You may have agents, you may have a distributors, like think about the Sri Lanka Honda company, right? Associated Motorways, right? And think about Toyota. We have a Toyota agent in Sri Lanka, right? So likewise, LG, Abbas, likewise you appoint agents, and through the agents you distributed that particular country. That is what you call exporting. You direct export by appointing a agents, right? Then you have the licensing arrangement. What is meant by licensing arrangement? Licensing means, so you have a given license to do the businesses in Sri Lanka. Can anybody tell me, right? Can anybody tell me what is the Sri Lankan license uh, organization you have heard or you have not? Utpala, can you name what is the organization we have a license who do a lot of business? That particular company in USA, they sell their products worldwide through using this method. What is that method we call? Utpala? How you know that? You maybe drink all these things, right? Utpala, not lighting. What the license? Utpala, you are there?
Yeah, I'm there.
What is that? What is the license arrangement? They are in the world market. What is the arrangement, Putta? Tell me, you know, you is a famous drink in the world. Huh? Coca-Cola,
Coca-Cola, yeah.
Pepsi Cola, all are
Mm.
license arrangement. Now, how Unilever, how these Coca-Cola company, parent company USA, what is how they expand their businesses? By appointing licensing, right? Appointing licensing. Then we have a joint venture, right? Joint venture. So, what is joint venture? Now, can you give me an example for joint venture? It is an arrangement. It was establishment of a firm that jointly owned by two parties. Now, some countries they don't want to allow it of one particular organization to come to do business in another country. So, therefore, no. We give you permission to have a joint venture. It's very famous car in India. Sri Lanka also tried to do go for joint venture, but it's not successful. But as far as India is concerned, so the India is a very country where foreigners not in a position to come to India and started businesses their own. So they don't want to tarnish their own market. So therefore, they want to bring new technology to the India. So what is the famous joint venture company in India? In Sri Lanka, we also have products.
Maruti Suzuki.
Maruti Suzuki, right? Now you see the India bring the technological knowledge from Japan. What? Suzuki. So India brand name is Maruti. So then you go for Maruti Suzuki. So this is how we call a joint venture. Right? Another method that says how Suzuki enter into the Indian market. What is the strategy they use? Joint venture. Right, good. And then another strategy is very much that is what you call franchising. What is a franchising? What do you mean by franchising? Right? What is the method you go for franchising? It's called, what is the famous in Sri Lanka? You have a McDonald's, right? Then what is? You have a pizza. Then you have a what? What are the other? A KFC. What is the other one? Recently established with the soft logic.
Burger King.
Burger King, right? Those are food chains, right? Now McDonald's with Habans, KFC with Cargills, Burger King with soft logic, right? So this is how Burger King, McDonald's went into the other countries. So what is the difference between then franchising and what you call licensing? There's a difference. Now franchising is, you noted that it is a 50-50. It's a hybrid product. Why? 50% of your food and the 50% of your service. Now, if you visit any other country, right? All these McDonald's, the layout, all almost same. No, their shops show the same brand name, the services, some foods also to some extent, right? Because it's a hybrid, 50-50. But as far as more controlled by the management, by the head office, they want to have a maintain the same services level. But as far as if you look at the licensing by the Coca-Cola, they don't want much control. Only thing they have given the powder. They ensure that they have to use the brand name, the Coca-Cola, and some commercial support, TV commercial support, right? So, but they don't much involving in a selling part. Right? Now that's the difference. Franchising, you involving in more monitoring of a services activities. Okay. Then another method is what you call turnkey projects. What do you mean by a turnkey projects? Turnkey projects, that means, okay, take for an example, right? Turnkey project is usually taken by the construction companies. Now say government don't have money. Government give a particular organization, okay, particular construction company, we want to build a highway, a separate highway from here to, they may give, okay, why don't they have a monorail? So there are issues, monorail, have a bridge, rail track, right? You can see a lot of things in the Malaysia, even India, metro chain, right? Alongside with the road, there is a metro chain, as well as monorail in Singapore, in Malaysia, right? So what do you mean by monorail? So that requesting huge cost. So we have handed it over to a particular organization or particular country who can do all this thing. Okay, we'll give them a, say, okay, project. So whatever the earning, right? Whatever the earning for 5 years or 10 years period, so they take the responsibility of have a monorail, right? Okay, so 10 years, whatever the income these companies generated. After 10 years, so of course, depend on the investment period, investment appraisal, investment return, payback period, all they will calculate how much you can take about your initial capital, how much you get a return, right? So we will give them. After 10 years, the entire infrastructure hand it over to that particular country, right? That is what you call turnkey project. Now, this is ideal for construction company where how they enter into the another market, how they impact your businesses. What is that? Turnkey project. Turnkey means you give the key to that organization. Only thing is we are very poor in Sri Lanka. When you go for turnkey projects, uh, their initial cost is say 100 million. He has to pay 150 million. Why? 50 million has to go to the our Pagawa road. That is why these projects are not worthwhile in Sri Lanka. Nobody is coming because cost is 100 million. Paga දෙල්ලෙනවා 50 million. ඉතින් some people don't like. ඉතින් අපේ කරුවෙට මේ වගේ මිනිස්සු ඉන්නවා. ඉතින් මුංග වරලා දාන්න ඕනේ. හරිද? Right? So otherwise it's a good project, right? Okay. Third method is what you call wholly owned subsidiary. Wholly owned subsidiary. Subsidiary, can you give me an example in Sri Lanka? You can have a two name, famous name. Can give me any name for subsidiary company in Sri Lanka? This is how certain companies come to Sri Lankan market. Sri Lanka, we have a subsidiary, two main one. What are those? Can anybody tell me what are the two subsidiaries? Any suggestions? Kaushalya? Any suggestion, Puta? Right? Bianca? Vihara? Any suggestions for subsidiary? You may drink something again. What is that? It's called Nestle. So very good have subsidiary Sri Lanka, Nestle, Unilever, all are subsidiary. So they establish a separate business entity in Sri Lanka. They are not exporting, they manufacturing locally, right? So these are some of the example I can quote for a wholly-owned subsidiary, right? Okay. So you know what is license, franchising, joint venture, right? Okay, clear now. So these are the type of strategies for internationalization. Clear? Right. Now we move into the cooperation strategies. What you call Now up to now, what are the strategies we learn? We have learned intensive growth strategies, market development, market product market, product development, and market penetration. Then we discuss integration strategy. There we have two types. What are the two types? Vertical integration, horizontal integration. Vertical integration further divided into two, that is backward integration, forward integration. And then we move into diversification strategy. Broadly we divided into two, related diversification, unrelated diversification. Related diversification, we call them as concentric diversification. Other one is conglomerate diversification. Concentrative strategies, we further divided into two, synergistic diversification and horizontal diversification, right? Something you produce, something related to your product, technically related, we call concentric or synergistic. And then we discuss something which is not related at all, but something relevant is called the horizontal, but whereas conglomerate means nothing related at all as far as their customers or product, right? And then we discuss about the internationalization strategies, how organizations move into the international business, expand their businesses through internationalization strategies. We use franchising, use we use franchising, then we use licensing, we use joint venture, we use subsidiary, and we use turnkey, direct export by appointing agents and all. Right. Okay. I want to tell you something for your, no, don't worry, for just for your interesting, right? There are something called piggyback international strategy. So have you heard about piggyback? Piggyback mean basically අර ඔයගොල්ලෝ සිංහලේ කතාවක් තියෙනවා ගවරාල දිව්‍ය ලෝකෙ ගියා කියන. ගවරාල දිව්‍ය ලෝකෙ කොහොමද ගියේ? ඈ? කාටද කියන්න පුළුවන්ද ගවරාල දිව්‍ය ලෝකෙ ගිය හැටි? දන්නව නේද? ගවරාල දිව්‍ය ලෝකෙ කොහොමද ගියේ? ගවරාලද ගියේ දිව්‍ය ලෝකෙ? නෑ නේද? කාගේ නැට්ටේ ඉල්ලලාද? ගියේ? ගියා අලියෙක්ගේ නැට්ටේ ඉල්ලලා ගවරාක දිව්‍ය ලෝකෙ ගියානේ. ගවරාක නෙමෙයි ගවරාල. රයිට්. එතකොට ඒ වගේ තමයි this is another interesting story. You know these Bristol tires දන්නවනේ the tires, right? Bristol tire කියලා තියෙන්නේ. Bristol's tire gone to USA market. How they are gone for USA market? Now this Toyota company, they are selling only the cars to. එතකොට මේ කාර් වල දාලා ගියේ මොනවද tires? Bristol tires. Bristol. එතකොට ඇමරිකාවල ඒ දවස්වල තිබුණා Firestone tires. We call Firestone tire. It's a very costly tires. Right? Then American people, they are using the Honda cars there, and they have realized that the tires who are installing to the Honda car good. They are look at it for import directly for Japan, all these Bristol tires. එතන Bristol tire ඇමරිකාව මාකට් එකට ගියේ ඩිරෙක්ට් නෙවෙයි. වෙන කෙනෙක්ගේ පිටේ නැගලා ගියා හරියට ගවරාල දිව්‍ය ලෝකෙ ගියා වගේ. So that is what you sometimes we call piggybacking export arrangement, just for your understanding only. So there are nice stories about these strategies, right? You need to just to learn all these things, right? Okay. Right. Coming back again to our topic. Now we are dealing with cooperation strategies. Now we call strategic alliances. Now firms unite or combine to form a set of businesses operation. Both are benefited to each other. Right? Remember, both are benefited to both other, but it's sort of a partnership. Right? But both are working for a separate thing. Can anybody tell me in Sri Lanka, as far as the banking is concerned, what is the best strategic alliance? Can anybody tell me related to the financial market, what is the strategic alliances business we are experience? Can anybody tell me? If the examiner asks you what is the strategic alliance relationship banks or financial institutions are enjoying at present, I would get a ප්‍රශ්නයක් මොකක්ද උත්තරේ දෙන්නේ? Can anybody tell me? You know, when I discuss with you, know both are benefited. Both are two separate entities. Because of them, they also benefited. Because of them, we also benefited as bankers. What is that institution? All are sharing. I now you know. What is the answer? Kaushalya? Any such? Yeah. I mean, both are benefited through strategic alliances. Come on. You must be knowing.
So, is it bank assurance facilities offered in banks?
Not that. You will recall it. I'm telling sharing. They are also benefited. Bank also by providing a better service to your customers. You know, what is the strategic alliance in Sri Lanka? Very famous one for banking industry. You are sharing. What is sharing? Now they are going to share the post terminal as well. Now at the moment we are sharing the ATMs. Some money who do the transaction, let's go to them. What is that company? famous company. I know you know. Come on. What is that? So anybody can go to any ATM machine, cannot withdraw the money. Who gave that facility?
Lanka clear?
Lanka Clear. Right? It's Lanka Clear. Understood? No? So because they also earning money, you whatever whoever who do the transaction, right? And got some money out of that. Clear? So therefore, Lanka Clear is a strategic alliance. So they are earning some money, and also they give you better too. Otherwise, if you want to have outlets or ATM machines, costly no. So now they will share. Earlier it has done by who? Masters and Visa. Now they can do it. Now they are going to share it. The post terminal as well. Now you know what you mean by post terminals, right? Now earlier, we have a separate post machines too. That is individual post machines. Now through the Lanka Clear, they are going to cover post terminal CPD, right? So therefore, whatever the machines you are using is a covered one. So thereby, we don't want to have a more number of switch post terminals. If we have one terminal, it's enough. Now I don't want to tell you a lot of I know a lot of banks are carried out certain promotions through the supermarket channels. So if you want to get that benefit, you want to shift your card through the post terminal provided by that particular bank. You can't use any other terminal. That is how they are giving benefited. Otherwise, the profit is sharing. If you are using, say, for example, Sampat, right? If Sampat post terminal, Sampat ATM card used through the HNB post terminal, so somebody has to pay for that, right? So instead of that, now somebody is going to take over, like ATM switching, post terminal switching, right? So that's a very good example in Sri Lanka, right? Okay, so as bankers, you need to know a little bit of all these things as well, right? Okay, right. Now, what are the advantages and disadvantages of this? You can share profits, you can share things. Please just go through, right? Speed of market, you can supply, you can give a better customer base services like that, right? Both are having an advantages as disadvantages. Okay, now we are moving to another different type of strategy, right? We call them as a acquisition, right? Acquisition, right? And other one is merging. What is acquisition? Right? Acquisition means or take over and acquire, taking control of another company, right? Either through share purchases or whatever, right? And this is what you call acquisition. Now, how HSBC, how HSBC enter into the UK market, right? At that time, there is a bank called Midland Bank in UK, right? How HSBC enter into the UK market by acquiring, right, Midland banks. So that is what we call acquisition. Now there are two types of acquisitions, right? Now say for example, NSB acquired what? Sri Lanka Saving Bank, right? Or RDB acquired Lakaputra banks, right? Something like that. Okay, right. There are two types of one, that is friendly acquisition and hostile acquisition, right? So what do you mean by a friendly acquisition, right? Now, for example, recently, other than this financial industry, the Sunrise, Health Guard, right? Healthguard and Waterwell, and they have acquired recently Dainty Toffee manufacturing. Dainty Toffee again. So that company they have taken over. The Sunrise PLC meet. These are the company. I'm just referring to Sri Lanka. There are a lot of acquisitions and mergers that take place in the world. Right now, I'll give you an example for that. Standard Chartered was acquired by Greenlace Bank. Greenlace Bank was acquired by Standard Chartered, right? ඉස්සර තිබ්බා Greenlace Bank කියලා එකක්. ඔයගොල්ලෝ දන්නලා ඇති ඇති පොඩි කාලේ අපිට මතකයි පොඩි කාලේ Greenlace අලිය කකුල කුසා හිටියා හොඩවැල උඩ තියාගෙන. දැන් ඒක acquire කළා World Standard Chartered. දැන් ඒක නෑ Greenlace Bank උඩ නැහැ. Example I'm just taking, right? And Sri Lankan condition, Sunrise. Famous we call them as අපි Sunrise කියනට වැඩි අපි දැල්ලේ Healthguard එතකොට Waterwell කියලානේ ඒක මේ ළඟදී අර Dainty manufacturing company එක acquire කරගත්තා. So that is something. And also some finance companies like Standard Finance was acquired by Credit Finance or something, a finance company. I can't remember exactly, right? Okay. So hostile acquisition, right? Now friendly acquisitions and hostile acquisition, right? I will explain to you what is friendly and hostile acquisition later on, right? Later on, I will try to explain you what you mean by a friendly acquisition and hostile acquisition. For the time being, friendly acquisition means දෙන්නෙක් යාළු වෙලා බදිනවා. That is friendly acquisition. Easy way of telling, right? Hostile acquisition කියනවා. අම්බ තාත්තා බලෙන් බද්දලා දෙනවා. Hostile acquisition, right? I will explain to you a little later on all these two things, right? Okay. Then the merging. What is merging strategy? Is a two different to the acquisition. Two equal size companies are together, we call merging, right? Now, good example in the world is Pfizer, Stimline. So two giant of equal size companies joined together, we call a merging. Right now, you need to understand what is the difference between merging and acquisition. Acquisition means basically you take over another organization, control of another organization is called acquiring. Right? If you take over, I mean, it's not a takeover. The two equal size organizations join together, if we call them as a merging. So merging is basically, remember, two equal size company. So therefore, they need to use the two brand names together. Harinama Kalikiwe, Chandrika Bandaranaika Kumaratu. Right? So they come with two important characters. No? Right. Some girls and boys also like that, right? Samahara yaginawai dano. Samahara ganawai husband ganawai. Yeah. So all like that. Okay. Right. That is merging and acquisition. Okay. So why organizations are going for merging and acquisition strategy? What are the motives? Motives mean what the hell? Abhipreraya, right? Why people are going for merging and acquisition? Due to three important reasons. Why people are going for merging and acquisition? For three important reasons. So what are these three important reasons? Right. First, let's look at it. Strategic motives. Right? Strategically, you think better to go for merging and acquisition as a business strategy, right? Because through extension, merging and acquisition can be used to extend the reach of a firm in the terms of geography, products, or markets. So that is the strategically reason people are going for merging and acquisition, right? For expansion businesses through geography, or maybe develop your product and services to improve your markets. So you are using strategic motives, extension. Or consolidation can be used to consolidate the competitions in an industry. Now, bringing together the two companies have a benefit effect. We call them as synergistic effects. We basically, right? 1 plus 1 equal more than that. Other one is what you call the capability strategies that we within their own portfolio, right? You have some capabilities for some area, so some are good for some other area. So therefore, you may go for joining and pooling your capabilities. Some are management capabilities, some are basically for other resources and things like that. So those are we call strategic motives. Second, we call a financial motives, right? Financial motives mean because of the get the financial efficiency. Now, some organizations they have a strong balance sheet, but some are weak balance sheet, right? Some are weak balance sheet. So therefore, so they avoid to go for strong balance sheet to join with a weak balance sheet. Now in Sri Lanka, you know, one time we had an experience called consolidations of financial institution. Now I think you are already aware that our we have a too many financial companies. Now, central bank is requesting because some of the consolidations, why they are requesting for finance companies, they are not in a position to come up with required capital adequacy, and there are some financial problem. So therefore, central bank requesting finance company to consolidate, right? Consolidate, right? So one reason is for financial efficiency. So if you have a more strong balance sheet, can go for other balance. I mean, that particular organization may be good at till other areas, but not good at balance sheet. So therefore, financial motives, financial to obtain a financial efficiency. Then for tax efficiency, there may be a tax advantage for bringing different companies together, right? There are some tax benefits to enjoy more tax benefits. So they may join organizations together. Or asset stripping or unbundling. Some companies are effective at spotting other companies whose underlying assets are worth more than the price of the company as a whole. Now, say for an example, that is what you call some companies share price is very high, but your organization is good, but your people may be not aware, your share may be not traded well. So therefore, if you join another organization, you will have share prices high. So that's the asset stripping or unbundling motive. So that is financial motives. Third one, for managerial motives, right? Now, managerial motives mean personal ambitions. That means, because you like to go for guy who's working, you get a some knowledge, right? You can develop their managerial skills. So they manage the organizations is too different, right? So that is another import. Then we get effects made. Now acquisition highly clinical. In a upswing, there can be a pressure on CDA when it's join the bandwagon. So therefore, another important thing. So you want to get good people into the certain your organization. So you can use the managerial motives. Some good people are there. They don't want to move from another organization to another organization, but they are very good quality, top quality management people. If they want to bring them into the organization, if they're not coming, just leaving the other organization, you can go for bandwagon effect, right? So that is a managerial motive. So therefore, remember why people are having for merging and acquisition for three reasons. So what are the three reasons? They said one is financial motives, managerial motives, and strategic motives. Right, remember that, right? Sometimes organizations merging and acquisitions take place due to three reasons. What are the three motives? Managerial motives, then financial motives, strategic motives. Right? You need to know all these things. One time they ask some questions, right? Okay. Then why synergies are crucial element of M&A? Right. So I will just try to briefly explain that part. Now, what is synergy? Synergy is a concept. In in Buddhism, we have a nice story about these synergies. Right? ඔගොල්ලෝ අහලා තියෙනවනේ මොන ජාතකයේද? කාටද කියන්න පුළුවන්ද මොන ජාතකයේද මේ synergistic effect එක තියෙන්නේ පුතා? I think somebody Buddhist people must be knowing this. මොකද ගොලේ අර වැද්දා දැලද්දක් බඩ කුරුළු ඔක්කොටම මොකද කළේ තනි තනිව ගන්න ගියාම summation is not much. But all are together, right? All are together. එක පාටව දැලක් උස්සගෙන ගියා. මොකද ජාතකේ? වඩු ජාතකය. මතකයි නේද ඔයගොල්ලන්ට? Right. That is nothing about is synergistic effect. What do you mean by the synergistic? Synergistics mean is what? 1 plus 1 equal to more than 2. 1 plus 1 is equal to more than 2. So that means the synergy is the concept that is value and performance of two companies combined will the greater the sum of these separate individual parties. Right? Those companies working together giving more benefit than working alone. Right? And this term is mostly used in the context of M&A. Right? Merging and acquisition. One of the main advantage why people are going for a M&A to benefit this synergistic impact. Right? How can you get this synergistic impact? Right? You can get the synergistic impact in various ways. One is what you call cost saving synergies. Now, cost saving synergies in the sense you can have a shared information about the technology, supply chain efficiency, improve sales and marketing, research and development. So we call them as cost saving synergies. As well as you have a another revenue synergies. Revenue synergies mean one is cost saving synergies. It is not there. Right. If you look at the another type of synergy, you can just put here cost saving synergies and revenue benefit synergies. One side is cost saving synergies, other side you can write revenue benefit synergies. What are the revenue benefit synergies? You may go for come up with patent rights. Example, patent rights, right? So you take the company who have a patent right, so they'll happen. So nobody can't do till such time. So then you have the patent right. Then you have a complementary advantages like that. Okay. Then that is cost saving synergies. You can say shared information as well as revenue based synergy. Right. So these are some of the synergistic impact of benefit of merging and acquisition. Right. Okay. Now we are going to discuss what are the determinants of merging and acquisition. What are the determinants of merging and acquisition? Right? Some people say advantages of merging and acquisition. Some people say what are the disadvantages of merging and acquisition. Some people say determinants of merging and acquisition. Right? There are three ways you can tell. Sometimes the examiner asks from you, what are the determinants? තීරණාත්මක සාධක මොනවාද? Merging and acquisition. සමහර වෙලාවට අහනවා merging and acquisition එකේ වාසි මොනවාද? එතන වාසි. Right? ඒතර determinants කියන්නේ වාසි තමයි. Right? So let's look at it. What are the determinants? First one, as you know, synergy benefit. That is what we have discussed a little while ago. What are the synergistic benefits? right? Or do you not want to explain if you say synergy benefit? Now, what are the synergy benefits? Cost saving synergies and revenue based synergies, right? So you don't want to explain or detail, but you have to understand through the merging and acquisition, a particular organization can go for synergistic benefit, right? And also, second one, enhance the existing market share. That is the strategy we use to enhance the market share. Through the merging and acquisition, you can enter into a new market, new business area. And sometimes you can improve your efficiency. How? Through use the technological know-how from another organization. Enhance efficiency. You can use tax efficiency, production efficiency, all things. Enhance efficiency. And benefit over corporate tax, as I told you. Financial efficiency, you can take through benefits over corporate taxes. Then, and you can develop through your skills and capabilities. Skills and capabilities. Then, maximum utilizations of your assets. Enhance opportunities, opportunities available in the market. Then, apart from that, you can have create barriers to entry. Create barriers to entry. Can create barriers to entry. But you are so powerful, nobody difficult to come into the business. Carriers create barriers to entry, right? And also, your one way is you are reducing the risk. Why? You're sharing risk rather than going alone. You are going with the strong guy. So you are sometimes we call risk or cost sharing. Or otherwise, economy of scale. So these are some of the advantages of determinants, right? So these are, in fact, the determinants are used, we call them as an advantage. So what are the disadvantages of merging and acquisition? You can put it somewhere here. What are the disadvantages of merging and acquisition? One is, it's not so easy. It's a costly, right? A costly. Another disadvantage you can say is cultural fits, cultural issues, right, between two organizational employees. Right, those are some of the determinants, okay, right, of failures. Okay, now we look at it. Elements that are essential for successful MLA, right? Okay, what are the elements? Suppose if you want to make a strong, successful merger and acquisition, what are the things you need to look at it? Right. Okay. First one, determinations of target and objective clearly. Right. You need to show this is the why we are going for merging and acquisition. So you must have a clear objective. Second, usual formal discussions and frequent communication. Why a lot of successful merging, merging and acquisitions are failed? One reason is the lack of discussions, lack of communications between parties concerned. So therefore, you must have a formal discussions and frequent communications. What is happening? Why we go like that, right? And also, you're going to look at it in-depth analysis of quantitative and the qualitative aspects. How much you're going to earn profits from this, right? How other cultural factors fitting to the business, right? Okay. Then what is the transaction value? That means how much you're going to spend, right? How much you're going to spend for takeover. right? දැන් සමහරලා කියනවා දැන් අපි මේක දැන් හිතන්නේ හැමතිස්සෙම merger acquisition එක විවාහයක් වශයෙන් හිතුවොත් හුඟක් වෙලාවට අපිට මේ problems ටික නිකම්ම ඔලුවට එනවා. right? මොකද්ද වෙන්නේ? හැමතිස්සෙම discussion update වෙන්න ඕනේ බදිල්ලල එකලත් එක නැත්තම් කචල්නේ. right? Quantitative depth of analysis. දැන් මම මෙයාව බැද්දම කොච්චරක් මට financial value එකක් එනවද? නැත්තම් ගෑනු පැත්තේ සමහර රටවල් වල පිරිමි ගෙවල් වල ගෑනුන්ට සමහර දැන් අපේ පැත්තේ තියෙන ගෑනු පිරිමිට ගෙවනවා නමුත් සමහර රටවල් වල පිරිමිද ගෑනු ළමයිට ගෙවල් ඕනේ right එතකොට ඒකේ කොච්චර වැලියු එකද බලන්න ඕනේ right ඊට පස්සේ අපේ පවුලට ගැලපෙනවද කල්චර් ෆිටින් කොච්චරක් වීදමක් යනවා දැන් මට සල්ලි නැත්තම් right finance merging and acquisition එක ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න අපි කොහෙද මේ සල්ලි හොයන්නේ කොහෙද සල්ලි ගන්න හැට ගන්නවද ඒක බලන්න ඕනේ right කොපපොළ අපි මේ ට්‍රාන්සැක්ෂන් එක නිසා අපිට එෆෙක්ට් වෙනවා දැන් සමහර අය අවුල පාටියක් දාන්න යනවා වෙන ග්‍රෑන්ඩ් වෙඩින් එකක් කරා එතකොට මොකද වෙන්නේ තමුන්ට සල්ලි නැත්නම් she has to borrow money ඒකෙන් ඇති වෙන බලපෑම මොකද්ද මොකක්ද ඇති වෙන බලපෑම so all we look at it right as well as evaluate post merger results මේ දෙක එකතු වෙනාට පස්සේ අපි කොච්චරක් විතර වාසි වෙයි එතකොට මතක තියාගන්න elements that are essential for a successful merging and acquisition is these other factors you need to determine the objective you need to have a continuous frequent communication as well as a discussion you need to analyze what is the financial gain you are going to get it what are the qualitative aspects how your cultural fitting between two organizations how much are going to spend to take over this company right how we are going to fund this money all things are the elements that are essential for a successful merging and acquisition okay right now let me look at it again despite all now we know the advantages we know the determinants we know the factors need to be considered despite all this why merging and acquisition fails it's like this now for example I just leave it from here and I ask from you why a lot of new products and services are failed why you think the new products are failed one example is sometimes you introduce the product and services at the wrong time right so like now say for example famous one if you are going to introduce ice cream during the very much cool and rainy season product fail not because of product bad because nobody is going to use that right the one reason is that or sometimes now this is an ideal time to introduce what sort of a debenture or why because prevailing interest rate is low right people look for more alternatives therefore good time for introduce debenture right suppose the higher interest rate regime no point of issuing debenture because you have to pay more interest to debentures likewise you need to look at it the given situation okay right so let's look at it common reason for merging and acquisition failures one as I explained to you lack of social and cultural fit අර මම හැමතිස්සෙම කිව්වේ වෙඩිල්ල wife and husband බලන්න කියලා අපි අම්මා තාත්තා කියනවා නේද අපේ පවුලට ගැලපෙන එකෙක් ගන්නේ අපේ සමාජ තත්ත්වයට ගැලපෙන කෙනෙක් ගනි ඇයි නැත්තම් merging and acquisition is considered to be a marriage whatever if these two parties are not fitting to the social එක පාටිය high social දන්නවනේ සමාජෙට ගියාම බදා ගන්නවා ඉබ ගන්නවා so some ගවේ එක්කෙනෙක් ගන්න මේ මොකද්ද මේ right ඔන්න කචල් right social and cultural fit merging and acquisition and the management style also they look at it right what is management style means basically the way you manage අපි ගමේ කමන්න අම්ම තාත්තා ඉන්නවල්ලෙනවා දැන් මොඩල්ල අපි කැමති නෑ අම්මල තාත්තල වැඩිය ඉල්ලනෝට අපේ වැල හස්බන් බිරිදගේ දෙවිය අය නැත හස්කදේ තිීලේ ආගේ so style we will look at it then too much complication is setting goals merging and acquisition we are setting because of merger and acquisition. We are going to set because of this. We are going to put a higher goals and targets. ඒ වගේ තමයි මම ඔයාව බැද්දම මාර ටාගස් දෙනවා. ඉතින් මොකද උනේ complication and more challenging targets, more exorbitant target where you can't vary. බැද්දම මට කිසි දෙයක් වැඩි හරි ගියේ නැත්තම් මොකද වෙන්නේ? Voila. Right? So therefore, I'm just telling you to remember, right? Right? So it's suppose merging and acquisition as a marriage. So you guys, why marriage are failed? Likewise, why merging and acquisitions are failed? I'm just try to just to compare for you for easy remembrance. Then inability to meet obligations. All of them බැද්දම දල්වලේ මොකද්ද වෙන්නේ කියලා යුතුයකම් තියෙනවනේ ස්වාමියාගේ සහ ඒවා අපිට meet කරගන්න බැරුණොත්. Inability to meet obligation, while two parties not meet obligation for each, so issues. So lack of enthusiastic. අයෝ වැඩක් මම බැද්දට වැඩි හොඳ නිකන් හිටියලා. Right? So people may thinking on that ground. So lack of enthusiasm. එහෙම තියනවා නේද? සමහර වෙලාවට so why I have tell you all these things, Putha? Just to understand, right? Don't get misunderstand about me, right? So why common reason for merging and හදිසියෙන්වත් මතක නැති වුණොත් මේ ප්‍රශ්නය අහවම අර මං කියපු example එක අරන් ලියන්න පුළුවන්. That is why I'm just telling, right? Lack of enthusiastic. අපෝ බැද්ද මම කිසිම ජොලියක් ගන්න මම කිසිම ජොලියක් නැහැ. ඒටත් නැහැ මෙහාටත් නැහැ වගේ දෙල්ලම කියන්න පුළුවන්, right? No jolly. අපි කියන්නේ බැද්දම මිනිස්සු කියන්නේ newly married couple energetic and blah blah අපෝ කියන්නේ right. So that is the reason. Lack of immediate finance, right? Right. හොඳයි නමුත් අපි කම සල්ලි නැහැ. So that's another issue, right? And also overpricing or underpricing frustration. When the passes of hard is අපරාධය මම මෙච්චර මේ විදිහට මෙච්චර දුන්නේ. අඩුවෙන් දෙන්න තිබ්බා තව. නැත්තම් මම කොච්චර හොඳද මට මට මීට වැඩිය හොඳ ගෑන් ළමෙක් බද්ද ගන්න තිබ්බා. නැත්තම් ගෑන් ළමයා හිතනවා මට මීට වැඩිය හොඳ පිරිහෙක්ව බද ගන්න තිබ්බා. right? අන්න over අපේ පුතාට මීට වඩා හොඳ තැනකින් අපිට කටයුත්තක් කරගන්න තිබ්බා. That is overall underpricing create frustration, right? Okay, I'm again repeating why I told you everything just for you to remember. If you have questions come, you know what to write, right? So these are common reasons for merging and acquisition failure. I'm always telling marriage and then look at it in that ground. You will recall some of the things. Okay, that is why I'm just telling you all these things, right? Okay, then we look at it. Next one.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
In 2014 වගේ ආව නේද ලොකු බැංක්ස් වලට පොඩි පොඩි මර්ජ් කරන්න කියලා සෙන්ට්‍රල් බැංක්.
Correct.
ඒකෙදි එකම එකක් විතරයි උනේ HMB ගත්තා HMB ෆයිනෑන්ස් එක. Sorry, but Grameen
Finance. No, there are some. That is what you call consolidation. I have a separate question on that area, what you call by the consolidations, right? Can I explain during that time all these things in detail?
Okay, sir.
Right, I will explain to during that time I will explain to consolidation. Now again, can consolidations come into the scene? Now since you raised that question, we have politics, no? You know that whatever we are going to do, we have a politics. So some regime comes, they are interested about the consolidation, right? Some regime comes, some people, they no need of consolidations, right? So we need to look at it, what is good for the country and what is good for the industry, right? So those are the issues we are struggling and we are facing. As a result, we facing, right? So I will explain to you little details about the that is we call consolidation. I will have a separate topic, or maybe I will give you a question. Once you complete this, as I explained to you, I'm going to give you a question. Most probably I will send you next week, right? I will give you a question paper, not all the subject, right? My area, what I explained to you during my 5-6 weeks, I will have a separate question, including the past, and I will incorporate some model questions as well. I will incorporate the consolidation as a question, right? I will say what do you mean by a consolidation? So why regulators are concentrating on consolidation? What are the drawbacks or what are the problems of consolidation? What are the reasons? All things I will ask from a question, right? Okay. Now coming back again, I can remember I told you uh, I told you the uh, friendly and hostile takeover. Right? Can you remember acquisition? Avoid hostile. I'm always try to link to marriage. Huh? Okay. What is friendly takeover? යාළු වෙලා කතා වෙලා බදිනවා. Friendly takeover. Right? Acquisition. Other one is hostile. මගේ කිසිම කැමැත්තක් නැහැ. ගෑනු ළමයෙක්ගේ කැමැත්තක් නැහැ. පිරිමි ළමයාගේ කැමැත්තක් නැහැ. අම්මලා තාත්තලා බලෙන් බන්ධනද. That is hostile takeover. Now the question is, what are the strategies available for an organization who is going for a hostile takeover? Right? Hostile takeover. Right? So බලෙන් ඔන්න බන්ධන දෙන්න යනවා. So there are some strategies. මම ඔක්කොම කියන්නේ, but I will explain to you. People who are learning investment. Yeah. Anybody who's learning in investment banking or development banking? I can't remember. So these people need to learn all these things, right? Strategies to avoid hostile takeover. One is poison pill defense. Poison pill defense. What do you mean by poison pill defense? Right? It is a form of defense. Now, poison pill defense is a form of defense. The attack utilized by a target company to prevent or discourage attempted to buy. ඒ කියන්නේ poison pill defense එක කියන්නේ අපි සරලව කිව්වොත් මාව අරයට එපා වෙන විදිහට මම කොස්ට්ලි එක වැඩි කරනවා. දැන් එහෙම වෙනවනේ. දැන් උදාහරණයක් බලන්න, දැන් ඔය මගුල් දැන් බදින්න එනකොට ඔය චිත්‍රපටිවල නාට්‍යවල ඒවා හරියට යනවනේ. හස්බන්ඩ් බලන්න එනවා. දැන් අම්මලා තමයි මෙයා කැමති නැහැ. මොකද කරන්නේ? මෙයා රෝල බලනවා. එක එක විදියට හැසිරෙනවා. අර උට එපා කරන්නේ. කොස්ට්ලි. අපෝ මේ ගැණිවරම් බැඳලා යනවා. එහෙම අන්න that is poison pill defense. Right? So targeted company එක අරයට අනිත් කම්පැනි ඇක්වර් කරන්න බැරි විදියට කොස්ට් එක වැඩි කිරීම. So that is we call poison එකක් කරනවා. මාව පෙන්නනවා ඔබ මාව ගත්තොත් එහෙම විසයක් වෙනවා වගේ. ජීවිතේටම මේකක් වෙනවා. ඕක දැකලා තියෙන්නේ අර පිස්සු වගේ හිටුවා නාට්‍යවල එහෙම යන්නේ. අන්න poison pill defense එක. Right? Other one is a staggered mode and take more time to take a decision. දැම්ම මම බලලා කියන්න අන්න ටයිම් ගන්නවා. දැන් හරියට ඔය දැන් ඔය ස්ට්‍රයික් වලදී ගන්නේ මොකද කරන්නේ? කොමිෂන් දානවා, තුම් පුද්ගල කමිටු දානවා. දැම්මම කියන්න බෑ අම්මේ. මම පොඩ්ඩක් කල්පනා කරලා බලලා මම තීරණයක් දෙන්න. එපා කියන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද අපි දැනුත් කරන්නේ වගේ. නේද? මොකද කරන්නේ? කමිටි දානවා. තුම් පුද්ගල. ඒකට කොමිටියක් දාපුවා මාසයක් විතර හැදෙනවා. Right? ඊට පස්සේ අර උටත් එපා වෙලා that finish. That is called staggered. So මම මේ බලන්න අපි මේවා ඉගෙන ගන්න ඒවා අපි සාමාන්‍ය පරිසරයට යන්නේ. White knight defense. Right? So what do you mean by white knight defense? Okay. Company කියනවා මෙහෙම දෙයක්. White knight defense mean find a friendly investor to acquire the company. Right? හරි. අම්මට මොකද කියන්නේ? අද මේ කීවා මතකද? White knight defense mean අපෝ අම්මේ මෙයාව නම් බදින්නේ නැහැ. මගේ යාළුවලා ඉන්න එක්කෙනාවත් බදින්නේ නැහැ. මෙයාවත් බදින්නේ නැහැ. හැබැයි මම වෙන ඕනේ කෙනෙක් බදින්න මෙයාව නම් බදින්නේ නැහැ. I know methodology. White knight defense. So during that time, so you are trying to find it out more friendly guy who will take over me, take over that company. Right? So that is what you call white knight defense. Basically, find a friendly investor to acquire the company. Hurry. Okay. Super majority voting right. What do you mean by that? Now, super majority voting right mean basically convince the major portions, major people, major stakeholders, right? Okay, දැන් කොහොමද අපේ වැඩේට ගන්නේ? අම්බලව තාත්තලට මේ ඩිසිෂන් එක ගන්න එපා කියලා අම්බල තාත්තලත් එක්ක ඉන්නවා නේද? ටිකක් අම්බල තාත්තලා කියන දේ අනිත් අය කියන දේ අහන අය ඔයා ගිහිල්ලා ඒගොල්ලෝගේ අප්‍රෝච් කරනවා. අප්‍රෝච් කරලා කියනවා අනේ සීයේ අනේ මාමේ අනේ ලොකු නැද්දේ පොඩි නැද්දේ ඕගොල්ලෝ කිව්වොත් තමයි අපේ අම්මලා තාත්තලා අහන්නේ කියන්නකෝ අනේ අපි මේකට කැමති නැහැ කියලා. මම කැමති නැහැ කියලා. So that is what you call super majority voting right. Right? So these are the some of the methods you can use it, right? Others don't forget, right? Just to know. So what are the strategies? Avoid hostile takeovers, right? So poison field defense, that means make it your organization is more costly other organization to acquire. Staggered mode, take more decisions. White knight defense means, okay, I will have acquisition on other organization, not for this organization. Super majority voting right mean, so you have a discussions with the main shareholders about the hostile takeover, your grievances. So right, these are some of the strategies used by the hostile takeovers. Okay, so everything related to marriage. So you know now what is poison and nikah hari mewa awat matak වෙන්නේ මම කියපු ඒවා නේද? So you know what to write. And remember, sometimes the examiner may not look at it for technical definition, but at least if you understood these concepts, so you can put it your own words, right? So if you understood, I mean, if the examiner convince you know these concepts, they may give some marks. Okay, right? Because why? And this is not your MBA strategic management, and this is not your degree level strategic management. So if you go for the degree level, you know what is the technical definitions and all. But in your case, we usually accept. I have given marks at least if you understood certain concept, right? Okay, right. Now we discuss about the merging and acquisition in greater detail, right? Any questions about the merging and acquisition? Right? Clear? Then rather than merging acquisition? Understood? So what you need to know about the merging and acquisition? So what is merging and acquisition, right? Then what are the motives of merging and acquisition? Then we discuss what is the synergistic impact, and then we discuss what are the determinants of merging and acquisition, and then we discuss what are the determinants and what are the issues you are facing with merger and acquisition, and what are the failures, why organizations are failed, and then we discuss what are the strategies you're using for hostile takeover. Okay, right. So having understood that, now we are going to discuss the next area, alternative strategies for business expansion, right? One alternative expansion we discuss, in fact, this one under international expansion strategy, setting up a subsidiary. Now, what do you mean by a subsidiary? Is a company with voting shares that is more than 50% controlled by another company, usually referred to as the parent company or holding company. Now, these days, people are talk about subsidiaries and all sort of things. But what they're telling is, we have the voting rights. 50% of control another company, we have the 40. But we gave 40%. But we gave 40%, yeah, with lot of under closures, which have given more power. Not only having the voting share power, but all other powers we have given, right? So that is the issue of subsidiary. Subsidiary a company with 40 shares, that is more than 50%, yes. But next 49% give more power and management power, administrative power, voila. Right? Oh, sometimes people use these technical words very saying. අපිට තමයි සම්පූර්ණ අයිතිය. හැබැයි අයිතිය තිබ්බට කණ්ඩද. Right? සමහර ඒවා management done by them, manage and administrative done by them. Under these circumstances, that particular organization has to look after this lot of under obligations, right? So that is why we have to be careful on this. Otherwise, it's a good method. Diverse, specialized, or subsidiary businesses. We don't have money to invest, right? You can they must bring the specialization. All are benefits, right? And remember, cost burden on capital of the parent company. So risk of subsidiaries, right? Big complex or big to be managed sometimes. Lose the control over the big subsidiaries. All cost and benefit must happen because of the subsidiaries, right? And then we discuss. I can remember. I don't know whether we discuss. We discuss about the outsourcing strategy. Now, what is outsourcing? We use some outsourcing strategy. Has become the latest mantra for companies to stay ahead of competitors, and we call a business outsourcing strategy. Now, may be defined as the strategic use of outside, specialized, and efficient service providers who parties to perform jobs of activities we call where earlier done by internal people. We call them as a outsourcing strategy, right? In banks in Sri Lanka, remember, Central Bank of Sri Lanka was given not facilitate all activities to be outsourced, right? Because there are some activities usually not permitted by central bank. Now, say for an example, preparations of strategy plan, preparations of what you call decisions pertaining to ALCO, then about the compliance function, risk management, audit. No, audit puta, yes, but certain audit you can outsource.
Yes.
What are the audits you can outsource? So those some of the audits can be outsourced. Now, say for an example, branch audit. Now, I don't know about your bank. Most of the banks now, because you don't have a team to audit those branches. Suppose you have 100 branches, can your internal audit team can do all 100 audits? Difficult, no? Right? Now, you must have a adequate staff. Now, according to you are learning about the compliance, if you're learning about the audits, you're learning about the risk. I think Dr. Sridharan has talked to you on that, right? What are the functions? So one of the thing is, one of the responsibility of board of directors provide adequate, talented staff to smoothly functions about these independent divisions: compliance, risk, internal audit, right? It is a duty of the board of directors, and CEOs also want to provide some adequate resources as well as the people, right? Now, say for audit, good one, but if you have 100 branches, so how many people you need? So therefore, central bank considered that matter, but not internal audit function you cannot outsource, but branch audit they have given for banks to outsource. That means you can use these audit company people to outsource. I think a lot of banks are now apply this, right? Branch outsource. But again, succession planning, ALCO, then the risk management, exchange control, compliance, CDD, KYC, forex dealing, treasury function, you cannot outsource. Like now, most of the banks are outsourced today. The transport section, security section, janitorial section, cash feeding, branch audit. Right? There are a lot of people. Even for Fronto is used to send the FD renewals. Also, a lot of things you can outsource. But there are some activities you cannot outsource as a strategy. Right? Remember that 2 of 2012, there is a circular issued by the central bank. What are the things you can outsource and what are the things you cannot outsource? And remember also, so once you have a outsource, right, you have an advantage. Reduce the control, the operating costs. You can concentrate on more business activities than day-to-day operations activities. So there are some advantages. But again, you have a lot of disadvantages of outsourcing. One is confidentiality issues, and then the social unrest. That's another important area. You people, employees think we are going to lose the jobs and blah blah. Social unrest, then the reputation risk and the confidentiality risk. So there are maybe some risks involving in outsourcing. So when you are selecting the people, and remember the outsources, people also who are working need to get the confidentiality clause signed, like your employees, right? Because they also can access to the customers' data sometimes. So therefore, you obtain the confidentiality clause from the service provider of the third parties as well, right? Okay, so these are some of the strategies. Business expansion strategy. You can improve your business expansion. Now, I can remember you also, if you are working in the sometimes you're working in the credit department. If you're going to grant loan for Sri Lankan Sri Lankan citizens who is employing in the UK or USA, grant the housing loan. Sometimes we get the confirmation from the salaries from India, right? Why? Because the Texas, especially the Texas supermarkets and a lot of organizations, their HR department in India, right? The HR department situation in India. Now we request for salary confirmation. The letters coming from India because fully outsourced the HR department. Even the administration, their salary, or bonuses, attendance, all are managed from the India, right? That means business process expansion, right? So because they can get more quickly the cost as well as new technology, you can obtain from the third party. So therefore, for business expansion, sometimes they may use the outsource strategies, right? Okay. Again, the alternative strategy you can use, as I explained to you, as market developer, opening branches, right? So you know the opening branches as a business expansion strategy. What are the advantage and what are the disadvantage? You can just go through, right? And then again, appointment of agents, business strategies, business expansion. Now, a lot of banks appoint agents, right? We discuss what are the role of an agent, what are the duty of the agent, what are the factors you need to consider when you are appointing agents, all things. But apart from that, they may access to more people, and the cost of financial inclusion, all matters for appointing agents, right? Okay, so you can improve your businesses through appointment agents that also have a benefits as well as disadvantage, where we are cost selling, cross selling, mis-selling, a lot of advantages and disadvantages are there, right? And also sometimes you can appoint forming a group, right? And to financial business undertaking through separate entities, eventually leading to a financial conglomerate, like having a separate entity called financial insurance. Also, you can also associate it with groups. But just I will explain to you just for your understanding about your uh, about your uh, about your improve your business expansion, right? Now, another strategy also I can try to explain to you. Now, a lot of people are talking about blue ocean strategy, right? Now, what have you heard about the blue ocean strategy, Puta? Right? What is the difference between blue ocean strategy and a red ocean strategy? Have you heard about this concept? Huh? Can anybody tell me what is this blue ocean strategy? Okay, what is a red ocean strategy? We have learned three type of strategies we discuss under red ocean strategy. Can anybody remember? I didn't mention about the red ocean strategy during that time. What is the red ocean strategy? 1 minute. KV? Hello? Oh, oh, sure. No. I join. What time was it? 6 o'clock? Right, okay. Thanks, Maja. Okay, right. See you. Right. Sorry, it's an international call, right? Okay, right. So then, what is the red ocean strategy? You have learned already. That was developed by Peter, no, who? Michael Port. Can anybody tell me? Kaushalya? Come on. Kaud? Dylan? What is red ocean strategy? Sanjeev? You have
Is
learned.
it Porter's five forces? Sir?
Not five forces. Other one? Other Michael Porter strategy. If you want
Value
to
chain analysis.
no, those are internal analysis, Puta. If you want to compete, what are the strategies you are using? Beat the competitor. You have three strategies. What? වෙළඳ පොලේ ඇවිදින්න බිල ගලා සසදාන්න කීයක් හරි අඩුවෙන් ගන්න අපි ගාවට එන්න. නැත්නම් අපි කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? අරව අපි දෙල්ලා අඩු පොලිය. Right? That is what you call Michael Porter's competitive strategy. Three forces strategy. What is that? Cost leadership. You beat the competitor by giving low lending rate or giving higher deposit rates. Compete your competitor, right? Cost leadership strategy. Hari Buddha. Second, what is the next strategy? What is the second strategy? Right? The differentiation strategy. You are going to the same destination. I give an example. Okay, if a person want to go from here to Singapore, you have two flight airlines. Okay, one airline, just go there. But some airlines, till you go there, හම්බි ඔයාව පෙරෝනවා කඩ බොඩ දෙනවා මොනවද කරන්න ඇත්තේ නේද? So that is a differentiation strategy, right? The third strategy, you identify a separate segment, focus strategy. So you try to give better than others are giving. These are we call what? Michael Porter's competitive strategies. So sometimes we call red ocean strategy. Red ocean strategy means අපි මේ compete කරන්න මේ ඉන්නවා තමයි. අපි ඉන්දාගෙන් ගන්න තමයි try කරන්නේ. Alright? Something compete කරලා ගන්න හදනවා. අපි life එකත් competition එකක් නේද? Right. But what is meant by a blue ocean strategy? Right? So what is this Kim and Morgan's say? Okay, why don't you fight? අර සිද්ධුවක් තියෙන්නේ අපේ ලෝක කරා වෙනස් විදියකට. I don't want to fight. Right? So I'm going for a separate market. Make the competition irrelevant to us. I don't bother about the competition. Right? Create untapped demand. Classic example, Puta. This is how Apple enter into the phone market, right? This is how Apple went into the used the blue ocean strategy. Apple iPod, iPad. So they went into a total different market. That strategy is called the blue ocean strategy. You expand the businesses, creating a new market for your product. Now, good example again, the blue ocean strategy. I can tell you the who is the second richest person in the world now? The owner of the Tesla company, Elon, no? Right? Now, you see who went for a different cars. So, different segment. I'll tell you what blue ocean strategy he used to fund money, right? Okay. Now, I think you understood, right? So rather than competing with each other, look at it value innovation process, a different in the different uncasted money. Clear? Right. So that is this type of strategy. So all these strategy may be benefited for you all for gets. Then you look at it, the reason for mergers. Diversifications of your risk, increase market share, cost minimization. අපි අර ඉගෙන ගත්තේවට තව අමතරේව ටිකක් තමයි මේ ඉගෙන ගත්තේ. So okay. Last part today we are going to discuss. Now, remember, this is a very still examiner not tested you on this area, right? So there is a possibility of examiner tested on this area, right? Okay. Now we discussed early what are the determinants of merging and acquisition, and then we discuss why merging acquisitions are failed. Then we discuss what are the areas we need to look at it for successful merger and acquisition. But according to today's context, we need to carry out due diligence in M&A. Possible examination question this time, right? Due diligence of M&A. What are these M&A? Again, I am referring this to my famous exam, my famous example. What is that? Marriage. Hari? My famous example, marriage. Okay. දැන් බලන්න මම ඒක කියන්නේ හරිද? ඩිලර් උත්පලා විහාර මම මේවා කියන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ට මතක හිටින්න. හරිද? Don't misunderstand me. I'm just telling you. දැන් ඔන්න බලන්න due diligence කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? What do you mean by a due diligence? So you're going to find it out the profile of the customer or business activity, right? Now you're going to take over one organization, right? You need to carry out due diligence. දැන් අපි හිතන්නේ අපි හිතමු විහාර දැන් ඔන්න කාව හරි නැත්නම් අපි හිතමු ඩිලන් කාව හරි දැන් බැරි කරන්න යනවා. දැන් ඔයා ඩියු ඩිලිජන්ස් එකක් කරනවා නේද? බැරි කරන්න යන පුද්ගලයා ගැන. Boy or a girl, right? So likewise, merger and acquisition are the same thing. You're going to have a due diligence about who is going to marry. First one, financial matters. You look at it, the buyer will be concerned with all the target company's historical financial statement. So before you going to get married, you look at his financial. The organization again, at least 3 years. So first you look at the financial matters, last 3 financial statements, related financial matrix, okay, reasonableness of the target projections of future performance. You look at the financial aspects, right? Then you look at the technological and intellectual property. The buyer will be very interested in concern of the quality of the target company's technology and intellectual property. දැන් මම ගත්තොත් එහෙම මොකද බලන්නේ ටෙක්නොලොජි and intellectual property. මෙයාගේ තාත්තා අමුතු මෙයා තමයි අරයාගේ පුතා නෙවෙයි අපි අගමැතිගේ නැත්තම් big character. intellectual property එකක් මෙයාට තියෙනවා විශේෂ වූ family එකක්ද වලව් කාර්යෝද රජක පළාතේ රායද අපි හොයනවානේ. So you look at it. Likewise, we do a technology and intellectual property. And The buyer will want to fully understand the target company's customer base, including the level of concentration, largest customers and sales pipeline. අපි බලනවා කොහොමද මෙයාගේ customer base එක මේ company. කොහොමද මෙයාගේ network එක. Right? Okay, so we look at the customers. කොහොමද මෙයාගේ තත්ත්වය, මෙයා කොයි වගේද මිනිසුත් එක්ක get on and all. Likewise. Okay, we look at the customer base. Third, we look at the strategic fit with the buyer. Right? Now, strategic fit with the buyer, අර මගේ example එක ගත්තා අපේ මෙයාව බැදලා අපේ පවුලට මෙයා ගැලපෙයිද? So the buyer is concerned not only the future performance, target company, standalone business, it will want to understand the extent to which the company will perform the buyer organization within the framework, how you fitting, right? Next one, material contracts. Material contracts mean, but it's critical. So due diligence require about the review of all material contracts, right? So what are the other contracts they have it? මේගොල්ලෝ ෆැමිලි එකේ කොහොමද? ටාගට් කම්පැනි මාර ණය තියනවාද? වෙනත් එක contracts ගහලා තියනවාද? So all we look at it. So contracts they have enter with company enter with other organization, right? දැන් අපි තුමු වෙන මොකක් හරි අපි ගොඩක් ණය තියනවා කියලා අපි දැන් මෙයා ගත්තාම අපි ඒ ණයක් ගෙවන්න එපා. Once you acquire, because you are acquired that organization. So therefore, you as the acquired company has to look after their debts. So therefore, we need to look at it that point. And are there any management employee issues within the organization? දැන් ෆැමිලි එකේ දෙම ඒ ගෙදර ෆැමිලි එකේ කට්ටිය ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවද? ආදී හොයලා බලනවානේ. සහෝදරයෝ සහෝදරියෝ ගැන, right? ඒ වගේ. So we look at it the relationship between the management and the employees of the organization, right? That is what you call issues. Are there issues? Are there any litigations, right? Are some organizations file action about this company? Litigation issues that we need to look at it. What are the cases with this company? අරිට මෙයා ලඩු දාලා තියෙනවද? මෙයා වෙන කෙනෙක්ව බැඳලාද? ඒවා හොයලා බලනවා නේද? Right. Litigation issues. Likewise, the tax matters. Next one we call tax matters, which may be not thing. Are there any income tax liabilities that organizations need to pay to Inland Revenue Department, right? Then some insurance. About the businesses profiles, we may look at it, all these issues, right? Then what is? We may look at it, some factors like litigation, tax and insurance, corporate matters, how counsel buyer will invariably undertake a careful review of organization's documents, corporate records, are they properly keep all this information. And the environmental issues. Now, environmental issues mean what sort of environmental factors impact your businesses. Then related party transactions, to what extent your directors obtain loans and other areas. Then government regulations, complied with laws, are there any obligations or compliance issues faced by a particular organization? And then we look at the property, right? And investigation, whether these properties really belong to them and all. And also we may look at it some marketing arrangements, so how good they are marketing, distributions and things like. And we look at the competitive landscape. What are the competitors the organization I'm going to take over have facing now, right? And also other areas, disclosure schedules, right? Now disclosure schedules mean are there disclose all the careful preparation when you are look at it for your annual reports, they are properly disclosed. They are all the informations, right? So these are the areas usually organization need to do when you go for due diligence, right? So remember, I will ask from the question. So through the merging and acquisition, due diligence is important. So any organization need to do a due diligence. Now, suppose even for National Savings Bank and RDA going to take over all these Sri Lanka Savings Bank and Lakaputra, so they have to carry out due diligence about that bank, find out all the information, right? Then you can get the support from a third party who are expert on this, right? Some investment banking, you can get the support to do the due diligence. So otherwise, if you have a competent enough, you can do the due diligence, right? Okay, so this with this, I think we are going to stop the expansion of financial business, and the next weeks we are going to discuss, right, important things. Now, I told you we need business expansion. We need to apply these finance business strategies. From where are you going to get the money? So we are going to discuss all these things next week, and then maybe 1 or 2 weeks, I'm going to discuss with you the question and answers, right? So with this, today we are going to wind it up. Okay, any questions, Buddha, before I'm just to close dealing today? Okay. 100 ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවද අහන්න? No question? Right. So we will I have another 2 to 3 weeks. Now today is 4, 6 or 7, right, max. So next week we will cover, and I will send you a question paper. We try to answer that question, so then you are very thorough to answer my section. Okay. See you and be safe. See you on next Saturday, same time. Thank you very much.